Welcome back, AM 1220 KHTS. Shows Fred Arnold on the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. I'm joined by mortgage professional, fellow mortgage advisor, Fernando Gauna. Fernando, welcome to the show.
Fred, it's my pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. This is my first time, by the way.
Oh, really?
Nice. I'm excited.
Well, Fernando specializes in home loans, both in California and in Denver. And you've had a lot of success here in Colorado because you've lived there a long time. But one thing where you've had a lot of success, and that is helping helping the Hispanic market.
Right.
Did I say that right? The Latino market.
You did, yeah. And
get into homes.
Absolutely.
Both in Denver and
right.
here in California.
Yeah, it's an interesting segment. It's a growing population. We're talking about almost 60 million Hispanics in this country. And they're a growing segment.
Yeah.
They're up there in home ownership, almost 46%. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about a segment of people that take pride in home ownership. With that being said, I think the Hispanic market is underserved from the standpoint that I think they have unique situations that not all loan officers and real estate professionals know how to handle.
Well, let's jump into that because
Sure.
as long as I've known, I didn't ever speak Spanish myself. My mom and dad do.
But you try.
But I try, exactly. See? The one thing I found when I would meet with a family that was from Mexico or South America or Central America is they really band together to help each other get into the American dream.
They really do, Fred. As we were talking off air, they really work together as a team. I mean, you've got generations of people that have been living together, grandparents, uncles, aunts, brothers and sisters. So from that standpoint, you've got folks that are willing to team up, come up with their own resources, income, sharing expenses, and they really truly help each other out to see if they can maybe qualify and realize that American dream, and that dream is home ownership.
Now, you work one-on-one with a lot of realtors that specialize in the Hispanic market. What are some of the challenges you see with that market and how you're able to overcome some of those challenges?
Well, again, as I mentioned before, I do think that market or that particular segment has its own unique challenges from the standpoint that they don't do things traditional like you and I. For example, they may not have traditional credit. They may not bank traditionally like we do from the standpoint that they might have cash on hand. Sometimes, and again, we were talking about this off the air, sometimes they may not show enough income. So those all present unique challenges for a lender. How do we work around those things? Well, again, we look at the family as a whole, right? Maybe you've got an uncle that has resources with assets. Maybe you've got somebody else that's using income. Somebody else in the household has got traditional credit. So we're trying to piece it all together. And if you're patient, like I've been over 20 years, and you're helping these folks out, it's a great thing.
Yeah, one of the things that we found is, so recently I was in an accident about a year ago, a cycling accident, and I took an ambulance ride to the hospital.
Yeah.
And my ambulance carrier didn't even bother to call me. They just sent me straight to collections because they didn't have my phone number or my address. Now, if you just Google my name, because they have my name, and they have the city, well, you'll find me, right?
Right.
But they didn't do that. And one thing I often see with the underserved, all aspects of the underserved, and I almost want to say economically underserved, is they have a tendency to have collections and things, items such as that on their credit.
They do.
When they didn't know anything about it.
Absolutely.
Because the minimal effort was made to communicate in their language and to communicate with them effectively.
Yeah. I think that's where we as professionals, especially on the lending side, need to kind of take the lead on that. And I think that's where, at least in my experience as a loan officer, you need to roll up your sleeves, maybe go the extra mile, and really try and help those folks out. Because like you said, sometimes they don't even know that they have credit issues. So, we'll pull the credit, take a look at it, and look at their individual situation.
So just briefly, those basics that when you meet with a client, what do you need them to bring along?
Well, I think, again, just the basics are we want to look at your income for 2 years. Obviously, we want to pull credit to make sure that we're not going to have any issues there. And
so I want to focus on those
right.
two. If I'm going to get two pieces of information, it's send me your tax returns and W-2s,
Right.
email them to me securely,
Right.
or bring them to our meeting, and I need to pull your credit. I really need to see what it looks
I
like.
really think those are the key factors, and then along just making sure that we look at the asset piece to see where your down payment and closing costs are coming from. I work a lot with down payment assistance programs, so we want to look at that piece too to see which direction we can take.
So what is the down payment assistance program?
So at least the down payment assistance program that I work with in Colorado, it's kind of unique. It's called CHAFA, but it really helps them with their down payment and closing costs to bridge that gap. A lot of times, you've got maybe a couple that might have between $3,000 and $5,000, but they need that extra $10,000 or $15,000 to help them with the down payment and closing costs. And there's a couple different examples. You could either get a grant where you don't have to pay that back, or you can even get a silent second, and the rates are still phenomenal. They're under 5%. So it's just a great way to get your buyer into a home.
Those that want to reach out to you, Fernando.
Boy, those that want to reach out to me, 818-201-8169. That's my cell, or you can reach me at the office, 661-505-4306.
I'm going to let you get out of here. I know you're catching a flight to Colorado to meet with a few clients this evening.
I enjoyed it, Fred. I really enjoyed spending some time with you and talking about the Hispanic market.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Fred Arnold on AM 1220 KHTS.